Okay.
Yes, and we are live with the sweet laughter of Miss Swasti Sugandh. So, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the channel, but welcome for the first time to this podcast. The podcast is titled Roots in Oblivion. What this podcast is all about, why did I like to initiate this podcast, will let you know as things go further. So, most importantly, I'll not be welcoming Swasti on this podcast. There is a very specific reason for this because it was her idea to start this podcast by this name. So, technically, the credits for this podcast are more with her than with me. So, technically, both of us are co hosts. And you might have seen Swasti previously in our another list of podcasts, Lab It Out. So yeah, that's about it. So you'll get to know what this podcast is all about. Let me jump right into the topic or right into the podcast. So Swasti, this podcast is about books. This is all about we being bookworms. So any book or books that you would like to suggest you read recently, what we can take away from it, and why would we want to read it in the first place? Yeah.
Hi guys, this is Swasti. Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to see you. So I have two books that I shortlisted, which I recently read. One is which I
Okay.
recently read. One is I have read like really long back.
Okay.
So the first one is this Mahashweta by Sudhamurthy.
Wow. Deep.
So the book is about a journey of this woman who discovers that she has leukoderma soon after she gets married. So
Okay.
because of the societal stigma and the fact that the people uh, or the woman having leukoderma is looked down upon. Because of all these things, she gets abandoned by her family, her in-laws, and her
Right.
husband, and how she struggles with her life and then finally gets to a place where she's extremely happy. So it's a
Wow.
beautifully written book. So it really inspired me because of the courage that this lady in this book has shown.
Okay.
So it really portrays how powerful and how courageous a woman can be, and get through or pass any sort of a hurdle in her life. So it really inspired me. So this is a must read. Everyone should read this
Okay.
book.
Mahashweta by
It's
Sudha Murthy. Yeah. So
beautiful.
apparently it is written
Yes,
by Sudha Murthy.
yes, it is written by Sudhamu,
Yeah.
and
So
it's one of the best books that I've read uh, till now.
nice, nice, nice. So I have a small
It's
trivia
very
about
small. Hmm.
Mahashweta. So when all of us were small, I remember we had just DD1 and DD Sahyadri in Maharashtra, especially Pune, Mumbai as well. So there would come a serial titled Mahashweta, and that was
Hmm.
how first got introduced to that name Mahashweta. I was a kid; I was barely 8 or 10 years old, I think, and the title song of that serial was quite famous. It was by the legendary Lata Mangeshkar ji. So yeah, that sounds like a great read. The serial was it was quite good, but I'm sure the book is way too good.
I don't know about the serial, but the book is surely a very good read.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Great. So you read it like just recently, a long time back. How was it?
Yeah, this is recent read. I read it like 3 months back. One of my friends suggested me to read this book, so that's how I came across, and I don't regret it. It's
Cool,
amazing.
cool, cool, cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So for me, well, this is a cover, and I know it's glowing, but this is the cover that I put. But this book is probably one of the closest books there ever is to my heart. The book is titled Majhi Janmathe, and it is written. It's basically an autobiography. It is by the legendary freedom fighter Swatantravir Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. So this man is probably my idol in every possible way, and it is said that he was one of the most highest contributing pioneers in the Indian freedom struggle. But for some or the other political reasons, which we will not get into, he absolutely did not receive his credit at all. And as a matter of fact, I happened to visit Andaman Nicobar Islands about a year and a half ago. And in that cellular jail, there is a samadhi of Swatantraveer Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. So for me, this is an extremely emotional moment and an extremely emotional connect for me that I have with Savarkarji. First of all, because he hails from the city called Nasik. I have been born in Nasik. Secondly, he didn't get his due at all in the Indian freedom struggle. He articulated and pioneered many concepts and many ideas which eventually led to India getting its freedom. Thirdly, because he was subjected to massive cruelty and massive hardships both by the Indian government pre-independence, and unfortunately even after independence his hardships did not recede for one reason or the other, again which we'll not get into. But yeah, this book is not for those who are faint hearted. Let me be very honest about it. This is about the extreme hardships he faced inside that cellular jail, and how the British jailers, how the British tyrannical officers or the rulers made sure in every possible way that Savarkarji's physical abilities, and more importantly his mental morale, would be broken down. But he would be called, Swasti, it's a very interesting fact. He is still called as the Jnana Surya. Jnana is knowledge, Surya is the sun. So he was actually called as the knowledge, son of the knowledge, by not just people in Maharashtra or in India, but actually the world over. And if he wanted, basically at the age of 26, he was already a barrister. And there goes a story that him, along with a very famous Indian politician or a freedom fighter, they were there in London, and one fine evening, Savarkarji and that particular politician, which can't be named, both of them were sipping over a cup of tea or coffee inside a cafe in London. This was like way back, probably 1900 or 1902. What happened was that other person asked Savarkarji if Savarkarji had read some of William Shakespeare's work. Now we all know, for the last 350 400 years, Shakespeare is considered to be the god in English, and he was considered god even 100 years ago. The answer that was given by Savarkarji pretty much sums up his intellect. Savarkarji was like, "Look, I hail from Maharashtra. I hail from India. I am the son of the Indian soil. And by the way, let me tell you, I have not read any of Shakespeare's works. But do you know? Have you read Savarkar?" And Savarkar has written 26 books, and Savarkarji at that time was 26. So by that he meant, I don't need to learn or understand Shakespeare. I have written Savarkar, and this Savarkar has written 26 books. And he went through a lot. But what people remember him most was his mental abilities and how he persisted his morale. And when I visited Andaman and Nicobar Island, when I visited his Samadhi, I had actually had tears in my eyes, and I was actually crying there. And after that, I read this book again. So this book holds a lot of emotional value for me. I've written a lot about my idol, Swatantraveer Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, in my book, which will come to later. So yeah, this is kind of my Bible. So that was about Majhi Janmatip. I'm not really sure if this book is translated in any other language apart from Marathi, but I'm very sure about it, and I will write it in the description. So, but as of now, this is in Marathi. So, Swasti, any other book that comes to your mind?
Yeah, the last book was quite heavy on content. So my second book is actually very simple and sweet. This is called as The Secret Wish List by
Okay.
Preeti Shenoy.
Okay.
So why I actually selected this book was I read this book when I was in a phase of my life wherein I was trying to figure out a lot of things. I did not know what to do further, and yeah, I was in a very tough space that time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this book, as the name suggests, the secret wish list, it actually inspired me to make a wish list of my own. So that's why I think this book holds a little, like a really small place in my heart, but it does. So this is about a small girl who goes through few embarrassing events in her life, and then how she goes about it and gets married, and it's a journey of a girl basically. And she ends up having a wish list when she was in a tough space as well. So I could connect it to the story somehow, and I still have the wish list with me. So the writer had given a small page at the back of the book which had your wish list written on it
Uh,
really nicely. There was a template and everything. So I tore that page and I made a wish list of my own, what all I
nice.
want to do by the time I'm 30 or by the time I'm 40, whatever. So I still have the list on my in my wallet. I've still not fulfilled any of it. So yeah, that's sad, but never mind. I did make a wish list of my own. Let's see if I could try and fulfill those. So yeah, this
That's awesome. That's
it's,
awesome.
it's a
The
very cute
Secret Wish List by
The
Preeti
Secret
Sharma.
Wish List by Priti Sharma. It's a
Nice.
very cute story
Nice.
to read. It
Guys,
feels good.
we'll be trying to put up the links for the books. Mostly it will be Amazon links. Since this is the lockdown era, so probably we'll be putting Kindle and paperback links, so you can try those books out if you like it. And we strongly suggest that if we are suggesting any book, that book holds a lot of importance to us personally. So that's a great book, Swasti. And when did you happen to read it?
Yeah.
You were saying.
I read it really long back. I mean, maybe 4, 5 years back. I don't remember actually when this book came out and when I read.
Right, right, right,
I was, yeah, it was very back, long back.
right, right. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. So there is this other book, the second book, and this again is so Majhi Janmathe is actually a book written probably 60, 70 years ago, or maybe more. I'm not really sure. Um, Now the second book that I'm going to talk about. This book, this book was written. mm, when was it written? I think it was written just about 9 to 10 years ago. If yeah, 9 to 10 years ago. I'll just show the text. I'll just show the cover of this book straight away. So this book is titled *Sapiens: A Brief History of Humankind*. It's by this awesome professor turned author turned motivational speaker turned many anthropologist guy, Yuval Noah Harari. And this there are two opposing angles to this book. First, that this book is overhyped and that this guy has cramped in a lot of information that people don't really care or they can't comprehend or they can't memorize. But I personally feel that this book is extremely well researched. This book I'll just brief you. This book is basically about the human evolution and how humans developed from apes, and how the popular belief given by Charles Darwin was that there was first a unicellular organism called bacteria, then it got divided into multiple organisms, then life evolved inside the ocean, then somehow the animals wanted more oxygen, they started crawling onto the land. They were called amphibians, could survive both on land and water and land. Then they started breathing, then land animals, then they went into the air, developed wings and all that. Basically, Noel Harari is the guy who is trying to challenge Darwin's theory in some sense by saying that human evolution didn't happen in one isolated area in Africa, but that it was collectively a group activity or an activity which was happening simultaneously across many continents. So what he tries to say is simply, and the best part about this book is that it is written in such a simple language that even if a person who is not interested in studying science, so to speak, who wants to pursue arts as their formal education later, and who is just in their 10th or 11th standard, even they can read this book, they can get intrigued and fascinated by this book. Um, just a couple of sentences what he tells that as I said, human evolution was happening simultaneously. Humans evolved from apes, but it was happening in Asia, in Africa, in North America simultaneously. And then there were clans of people who were started developing, and then one clan was fighting against the other, and probably that the Neanderthals, who were huge but who didn't have evolved brains, they were also existing simultaneously with the sapiens, who are actually the Homo sapiens, which we all are technically. But what Homo sapiens were, they were much shrewd and they had much complicated and contrived brains. Now, by that, what we mean was they were very conniving, they were very deceitful. So they might say one thing, but they might do the other, like all humans are currently. And the Neanderthals, they were
Okay.
huge and they had simplistic brains. So they had
Hmm.
good bodies, but their brain was not so developed that they would differentiate between right or wrong. They tried to approach the Neanderthals and they made sure that they are engulfed in their trap, and that is how they killed them. And then the Homo sapiens have been ruling Earth ever since. And how that evolved, how agricultural revolution evolved, and everything that we are so fascinated about. Like, just a fun fact, uh, wheat or rice, these grains are developed just a couple of thousand years ago. Do you know that? And that is simply because as the population grew, they realized that they couldn't eat everything, or they didn't have that much to eat. So they started chopping off trees, and that was how the grasslands developed. And that is how the domestic animals like cows, buffaloes, sheep, they all started developing. And the word domestic comes from the fact that those animals could be domesticated, they could live with the human beings. And then came the grains, and then the human population started evolving. Then came money, and so on and so forth. So it's a very fascinating tale of how humans have evolved, and it's not
Right.
as hunky dory as we believe or we are made to believe so. Human history is full of fallacies and deceit and whatnot. So it's a very
Of course.
interesting read. It's a very interesting read. And yeah, so I think we have finished with two books each from our end. So is there any other book that you would like to mention? Any
Yes,
further?
there is one. Before I go to that, there is something that I want to say. I love how opposite content consumption that we we have. You sort of have these really heavy, informative books that you've read, and mine is like pretty cute and small content.
But I
It's,
honestly
it's
believe
really nice.
the yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
but
good.
it's great actually, because I think
Yeah,
the art
exactly.
of reading is dying, and reading
Hmm.
should be a way of life for people. And it's good that you made this point. Before moving forward, this subject is very close to my heart. With all the over the top platforms like YouTube, Amazon, Netflix, and whatnot, people are literally losing their minds. They are losing their ability to think on their own, have creative thoughts inside their mind on their own. And thank God for our childhoods, wherein we didn't have much of TV, much of computers, internet, nothing. So
Hmm.
there is that thread that I think we are again pulling to, and that thread will pull us out of these dark times as well. So
True,
there,
true.
my point being, there is no read as a good read or a bad read. As long as we are reading,
Correct.
I think we are evolving. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, there's always some sort of a message or some sort of a learning in any kind of book, so
Absolutely, absolutely.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I have a book right now, and I'll read a small excerpt from that,
Okay.
and you have to guess which book that is. Okay.
Okay.
In the words of the famous scientist, astrophysicist, and propagator of science to the masses, Carl Sagan, our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. It is, a, it is statements like these which makes us realize that our actions, our beliefs, and our existence in general is rendered irrelevant in the larger cosmic scheme of things. Still, we somehow behave and act as if the entire universe rotates around our existence and that we are the center of all the cosmic activities. So, does it sound familiar?
Yeah, it does.
Thinking
But as many books that I have read, I have to admit I have a very pathetic memory. So I'm not
that's too
able.
bad.
I'm not able.
So, the excerpt that I read from was from ta-da! This book.
Okay,
Ring a bell?
okay. Yeah. It rings many bells. This book is
Yeah, right?
probably the closest book that there ever could be in my heart, in my
Correct.
soul.
Same
Yeah,
for me.
that's nice. That's heartening to know
So,
actually.
this is
So
your first ever book that you wrote.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
So,
tell me
guys,
something.
as cheesy as that introduction to, and as cliched as that introduction to my book was, and I know that it was a very cliched starting or product placement to my book, I think it needed to be done because, well, this channel is titled Roots in Oblivion. Sorry, this playlist is titled Roots in Oblivion. This podcast we are going to continue for quite a number of episodes because books will exist only as long as the readers do. And I think the most important element in the world of literature is the person who reads, not even the writer, not probably the book. So the book, yes, but more than the writer, it's about the readers. So this entire introduction or prelude to the point wherein she showed the book Roots in Oblivion was because I really want all of us to go back to our roots in many ways. We'll be discussing in subsequent episodes what I really mean by it. But yes, these episodes will as much be about me trying to get you acclimatized with what I want to say inside the book, how I wrote the book, why I wrote certain things, what is the format of the book. As if not greater, it also is about what books do we read and what content we should consume in order to have an ever evolving mindset. So yeah, that was the introduction of how we came to Roots in Oblivion. नमस्ते देवी और सज्जनों, मैं अमीन सयानी और आप देख रहे हैं रूट्स इन ओब्लिवियन. ऐसा जोन हमको नहीं पकड़ना, ऐसा जोन हमको नहीं पकड़ना है. सो इसलिए हम थोड़ा सा कैजुअल और फ्री रखेंगे. मन से हम कितने भी बूढ़े हो, लेकिन हमको दिखाना है कि हम यंग हैं.
हम बूढ़े नहीं है, तुम बूढ़े हो. Talk about yourself, not me.